My 7-year-old's teacher took her lunch away for 3 weeks straight. When I found out why, I drove to the school in my pajamas. My daughter Maya started coming home starving, not normal hungry, shaking, dizzy, crying into her mac and cheese hungry. She'd inhale snacks the second she walked through the door like she hadn't eaten in days. I asked her if she was trading her lunch. She said no. I asked if other kids were taking it. She said no. I asked if she just wasn't liking what I packed. She started crying and said, "Mommy, please don't be mad. Mrs. Calder takes it." I thought I misheard her. I'm a single mom. I work nights as a dispatcher, and I pack Maya's lunch at 5 a.m. with whatever love I have left. Turkey sandwich, apple slices, a granola bar, juice box. Nothing fancy, nothing weird. Maya explained that her second grade teacher had a new, healthy lunch policy. Every morning, Mrs. Calder inspected each child's lunchbox. If she decided the food wasn't healthy enough, she confiscated it and gave the child a school cafeteria tray instead, which the parents got billed for later. Maya's turkey sandwich, confiscated. White bread wasn't approved. Granola bar, confiscated. Too much sugar. Apple slices, allowed, but only if I hadn't put them in a Ziploc because plastic was discouraged. For 3 weeks, my daughter had been eating a half-portion cafeteria lunch while watching her own food get thrown in a bin, and I'd been getting cafeteria charges I didn't recognize on the parent portal that I assumed were a glitch. I looked at my phone. 6:47 a.m. School started at 7:45. I didn't change clothes. I didn't put on a bra. I put on slippers, grabbed Maya's hand, threw the lunchbox in the car, and drove there in flannel pajama pants with coffee breath and zero patience left. I walked into that classroom at 7:50 a.m. holding the lunchbox like evidence. Mrs. Calder was writing the morning warm-up on the board. 22 kids stared at me. I said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Did you take my daughter's lunch yesterday?" She turned around slowly and said, "Mrs. Patterson, we can discuss this after school in a more appropriate setting." I said, "We're going to discuss it right now because my daughter has been hungry for 3 weeks and I want every parent in this room to know what's been happening to their children's food." She tried to walk me into the hallway. I didn't move. I opened the lunchbox and pulled out today's sandwich. "Is this getting confiscated today? Tell me now so I can pack her something else." She said, "The bread isn't whole grain." I said, "She's allergic to whole wheat. It's in her file. The school nurse has an EpiPen for her." The classroom went completely silent. One little boy quietly said, "Oh no." Mrs. Calder's mouth opened and closed twice. She said she wasn't aware. I told her every teacher gets the allergy roster on the first day of school, and it's posted inside her own supply closet, which I knew because I'd helped set up that classroom at the volunteer night in August. I asked Maya in front of the class, "Sweetie, did you tell Mrs. Calder you can't eat the cafeteria bread?" Maya nodded and whispered, "She said I was making excuses." I walked straight to the principal's office with Maya's hand in mine and her uneaten lunchbox in the other. I didn't yell, I didn't cry. I laid out the cafeteria charges, the allergy file, the 3 weeks of hunger, and one sentence Maya had said in the car. "I thought if I told you, you'd be mad I wasted the food." The principal pulled Mrs. Calder out of class within the hour. It turned out she'd been doing this to 11 kids. 11. One had celiac. One was diabetic and had been giving up his juice box every day, which is why his blood sugar logs had been crashing. His mom had been at the pediatrician twice that month trying to figure out why. The district opened an investigation. Mrs. Calder claimed she was promoting wellness. The school board called it endangerment. She was terminated within 6 days. The diabetic boy's family filed a lawsuit. I joined it. The cafeteria refunded every parent. The district sent a formal apology letter and rewrote their policy. Teachers cannot confiscate food, period. Maya is in 3rd grade now. Different teacher. She still gets nervous opening her lunchbox. Last week she asked me if I could put a note inside that said, "This food is allowed." I cried in the car after I dropped her off. But here's the part I think about most. The day after Mrs. Calder was removed, Maya came home with a drawing. It was me, in my pajamas, holding the lunchbox. She'd written across the top in shaky pencil, "My mom is the bravest person I know." I keep it on the fridge, right next to her granola bar wrappers.